that name come from? And so where does the logo itself, it's quite a sort of demonic, if you like, or how did that come about?
Well, so the way I conceived of demons, I mean, because it was everything that I liked that was demonic, as I didn't think that demons were bad. Like, I thought that they were just kind of these, I thought of them as these sort of like playful little entities, you know, like, and I really love trickster deities and stuff in old mythology. And so I just was like, I don't know, like I was just trying to come up with a logo really that sort of represented my I mean, that I want to have fun, that like I'm not trying to do the, you know, the black metal like Satan thing, you know, like I'm just, you know, I mean, it's better than monsters, right? It sounds better than monsters, I guess.
I think you've put it over really, really nice. And the thing is, when you think about demonic things and demonic machines, you mind it kind of goes to like evilness and things like that. But you've actually taken it in a different way and sort of like mischievous, almost like little imps and things like that. And it's, you know, I like that. That's really good. I like it. So next question. Now I've got to read this one out because it's quite long. So, how'd you go about designing and creating a pedal? And how long does it take for an idea to come full circle from actually having an idea to actually it being a completed product? What's the process?
Well, so about a year ago. So I started Demonic Machines about a year ago, I guess. I was still in grad school, and I was just sick of writing. I had been writing a sci-fi piece and had started learning some like programming and stuff, and I started building guitar pedals. I don't know why that happened. But back then I would find a schematic on the internet and I'd build it, and then I'd test it and see if it worked, and then I'd take a picture and I'd put it up on Reverb, you know, and be like, hey, give me $30 for this overdrive, you know. And as I did that for a while, for a few months, and then I ended up having to replace a couple of pedals just because they worked when I put them out, but like my soldering skills weren't where they needed to be, and so I had you know, like they would like break. They'd sound good and then they'd break, and so I would replace them. I include a warranty with all of my pedals because, and my older pedals have a lifetime warranty. So if you've got like an original cow killer or like something like that and it stops working, just send me a message and I can hook you up with a new one. I promise it won't break. Yeah, but so after that, I kind of cut back what I sold, like what my range of what I sold was. And I was like, okay, so what do people buy, and what do I count on? What can I count on? So I was down to 3 pedals. There was a 4th one, but because it was a direct clone of a pedal and I hadn't modified it in any way, it was a clone of the Super Hard-On, but that's just a perfect pedal, so there's not really much you can do to it. So I stopped selling that just because I didn't feel like I added anything to the Super Hard-On. But the 3 original circuits that I have that I sell, I guess, are the Cow Killer version 3. It's a dual bass fuzz overdrive. It's dual effects, yeah. Electric Scream treble booster.
Just as Gash he's demoed the Electric Scream, hasn't he? And the Bang's distortion as well.
Yeah, so the Boing that was really early build and not super early, I guess. But it was kind of in this interim period where I was starting to shift my business model and I was just sort of trying to find things that worked, and I thought maybe like hand painted pedals, like really nice. So I got my partner to paint an enclosure, and then I it's a really simple circuit. I don't know if he's opened it up and looked at it, but it's two transistors and some LEDs for clipping.
Hey, it
Yeah,
sounds good. I've listened to the demo clips and it sounds fantastic. Real nice bassy bottom end on it, and I mean, Justice, he does a good job of demoing it as well. So yeah, it's yeah, really, really nice pedals. I like them, and the artwork as well. That I love the artwork on your pedals. And I was speaking to Ryan Entrican, I think it was yesterday, of Entrican Pedals, and he's the same. He's got very beautiful enclosures, gorgeous artwork. He's doing it himself. Funny enough, my partner, she's quite arty, and she's doing some sort of like artwork and things like that for me as well, for logos and all things like that. So where does your partner's creations or ideas come from for the artwork? Are you pointing your partner in a particular direction, or?
um, I only occasionally get her to paint an enclosure for me. Usually it'll be like a custom build. If someone asks me to build them a custom pedal, I'll ask Angie if she wants to paint a pedal. Like the most recent custom I built was for the bass player Garrett Focacci of the Gay Agenda. They're a local hardcore band, queercore band. But I built him a bass fuzz, and I had Angie paint it, and it's called the Fuzzy Pink Box. Just because thought it would like Garrett thought it would be funny if the Gay Agenda used an effect called the Fuzzy Pink Box. So yeah, and then the Blang, that was another one. Angie, I just asked, I was like, hey, do you want to design an enclosure for me? And she did, and I built an effect to go in it, and it honestly it wasn't selling. Like no one wanted to buy it, and so I just sent it to Justice. I was like, here, like have this pedal. No one else wants it, and he demoed it, and hell, I might start building it again since people like it so much.
Yeah,
Or yeah,
it sounds fantastic. So why not? Why not?
yeah. I've got another distortion in the works. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I have another distortion in the works, and keep an eye
Well,
out for that.
yeah, well, that answers one of my later questions, and it's nice to know that you're sort of thinking ahead. And actually talking to you, I just wrote a note down. You seem like you've got a very good business head on you, business brain as well. Like you were sort of like thinking about reducing the number of pedals that you're going to be supplying and things like that. So I think that'll probably do you put a lot of favor in the future. Are you naturally sort of business minded, or?
Um, let's see. I don't know if I should talk about most of my business experience.
Fair enough. you,
But
you certainly seem to have like a bit of a business head on you. That's for sure. You come across that way to me, anyway.
thank you. Yeah. Well, I'll say actually some of the things. I guess it was growing up with my dad, and my dad's very business minded. I think, and I don't know. I guess, yeah,
Maybe
he
that's
was
rubbed
sort of
off.
yeah.
That's
Maybe
rubbed
it
off.
rubbed off or something. Well, it's possibly the only thing we have in common too. he's a retired colonel in the army, and so yeah. But
Okay, so well, we've looked at the next horizon on the company for you. You've got some new products coming up, which sounds great. So, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges facing guitar effects industry today?
oh, I mean, I think one would be like just how saturated the market is. And I would say like you've got the big companies, the Jim Dunlops, the bosses, like that sort of thing. That I mean, they can produce 1,000 times as much as you produce, and they can do it for a fraction of what you're paying to produce it, and all of that. And so I think, especially for me, and I'm very much just starting out. My biggest challenge is like having those people, getting to out to those people who trust or who are willing to take a risk on a small builder, I guess I will say, right? And we were talking about JHS earlier, uh, and I like Josh. I think he's been great for the industry. But the 3 Series kind of bothers me, for the reason that, I mean, I think even me on one of my more like wary days, like where I'm like, I would rather buy just a straight up delay from JHS than to like possibly get a really messed up weird boutique delay that like is unusable. And so like I see my customers being in that same position, right? And like I can't blame them, right, for wanting to just take the $100 JHS pedal. But at the same time, like my pedals are good, and I just wish that I had a way to get that word out more to people.
Yeah,
Um,
I think your pedals are good. I haven't heard them, but I think the market is saturated, and I think it's going to get more saturated. But also, the industry's growing, that's for sure. But I've just got this feeling that there's going to be a lot of growth. There's probably going to be more growth from small independent builders like yourself than the likes of the big ones that have already made it. I think that's where the big growth is going to be coming from builders like yourself. I think anyway.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think like I don't think boutique builders will ever go away, right? I don't know if I should even say that word. Small builders will ever go away, right? I think because I think that there is this desire in the music community to have something that's handmade, right? Instead of like a CNC machine, picking, placing, all of the parts or whatever. Even if, I mean, there was a review done of the Fucked Fuzz by someone who they said that the enclosure like sold them on it because it just had this very like handmade, like
It
crafted
does.
like feel to it,
It does.
and
Yeah, absolutely.
and so people will always want that, and I think effects are becoming more popular. I was watching an episode of Show Us Your Stuff, the Earthquaker Devices show, and Steve Albini was on there. Why did I just bring this up? What were we just talking about? My mind just blanked. I
We were talking
apologize.
about the market being saturated.
Oh yes,
Yes.
and he was talking about how recently he's had to build up like a huge pedal collection because um, now it's like everybody has a pedal board, and like maybe they can't travel with it, and they're all customized to these different, everybody's got their own custom setup, or they've got one of those, modelers that's, just one big thing, which is cool too. I mean, if that's your thing. But it's becoming a part of the electric guitar. Like I feel like the common way of thinking about an electric guitar is that this is the electric guitar. Like,
Yep.
this is the whole thing, right? Yep. But it's not. It's this chord, right? It's all of the things that my signal is going to go through, and then it's my amp at the end. Like, that is all my instrument. And
you know what? Look, I think that the likes of Joss JHS and the guys at That Pedal Show and lots of other people, and the information that's available to us as guitarists as well, we're getting aware of stuff that, like, actually the cables make a difference. Buffers make a difference. It all interacts. Different pickups make a difference. Mm-hmm. And it all interacts and all connects, and it's like you say, it's not just the guitar, is it?
Mm. Yeah, no, and I mean that's right. Like, I mean, one day I want to have a luthier build me my own, like, acoustic guitar or whatever, and I feel like that same kind of desire will extend to electric guitar. And it's, oh, my dog is barking at the neighbors. But yeah, so.
Well, that sounds great. So, I mean, obviously, JHS seems to be a favorite builder of yours. So, what other builders do you admire in the industry at the minute?
Fran Blanche, I think, I think because she's a trans woman, that's important to me, and then she designed the basis for, like, all the big muffs that are produced now, right? Like, she did that first New York reissue, and that's the big muff. I mean, that's one of the most classic pedals ever, right? So, and now she's at Frantone. I've built some Frantone clones for myself. I don't sell clones from small builders or anything anymore, or I did ever. I don't know. Maybe I did. We won't talk about that. Yeah. So Fran Blanche, Frantone, Debbie Ever, of Debbie Ever Effects. She's a genius. I read somewhere that she uses the same PCB for all of her pedals.
Wow.
And yeah, and I'm like I have trouble, designing a board that can either have hard clipping or soft clipping, So, I mean, just having this can be a whole other effect, that's so crazy to me. Brandon Shock at Shock Rock. Yeah. He's great. He's up and coming builder. He's got a few years on me, definitely. I actually recently built him a custom pedal. I guess that was my most recent custom pedal. And we did a little trade. I've got a pretty cool delay on the way from him. So yeah, and we've mentioned JHS. No particular, I don't know, no good reason I can think of for this, but like Earthquaker devices appeal to me.
Ah, yes.
For some reason.
Nice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And lastly, what's the last five records you listened to? I'm saying records now, aren't I? Crikey, I'm showing my age now, aren't I? But
actually,
vinyl's coming back, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Yay!
So, last five records I listened to. We've got Stankonia by Outkast. This fantastic, classic Dirty South hip hop album. And it's got soul and R&B and blues and some of that gangsta shit, Then I listen, and then the Hers Collective, Friends, Lovers, Favorites. They are a two-piece hardcore outfit based out of queercore outfit based out of I believe it's Philadelphia. I could be wrong, but I believe they're based out of Philadelphia. And great album. I think there's like 40 songs on it because some of them are only like 12 seconds long. It's very. Here's the Gay Agenda. What was this called? Penetrating. Yeah. So a friend of mine, Garrett Fikachi, he gave me this. I called him up the other day and I was like, hey, if you want your record to be one of my last 5 records, you should drop off a record at my place. And so he gave me a record.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Human Eye. This was, I actually don't know if they're still active. I saw them twice, probably a decade ago, but they were based out of Michigan. And I bought this because of the cover. I'm sure, like, you maybe notice I don't know. I feel like my art is influenced by this cover a lot.
You can see it, can't you? Yeah.
But I never heard of this band or anything. I just saw the cover and I was like, that is such a cool looking album. I'm going to buy this. And it's one of my favorite records now, 10, 12 years later. And 14 years later, this came out in 2006. Wow, I'm old. It's great. It's very synthy, kind of punk rock stuff. They would put on really weird shows too. Oh, and their synth player is credited as alien keyboardist. So I always thought that was great.
Sounds good.
And then last, but definitely not least, as Against Me as the Eternal Cowboy. They're from the South as well, Florida, Gainesville, Florida, and oh look. And this is a fantastic album. I learned to play guitar to this album, and the one before it. So
Great
yeah,
stuff. Excellent, lovely. Well, Lucky, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It's been really nice. And thank you so much for giving us your time to tell us about yourself, your music, and all your pedal creations. It's been great fun.
Yeah, no, it's been great talking to you too, Steve. And thanks for having me. Looking forward to seeing the episode. Hope you do well. Hit me up if you ever want to paddle.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be lots of interest from the interview. I'm sure. So we'll put all your links up and everything else, and try and get some interest your way. So thank you very much, and goodbye from the UK.
Yeah. Bye from California. Yeah.
See you later. See you later.
Bye.